It is technically Tuesday, May 7th, and the splash zone for tomorrow's games is back in your life. I'm Matt Modi, and I have two NBA bets for you guys to lock in. Again, for tomorrow's NBA betting slate, we're talking Wednesday, May 8th. We only have one game on tap, Pacers versus Knicks for tomorrow, but I do have two plays for this game. Of course, before I can get into those picks, I got to do a recap from how the last time you saw me, those picks went. I'm recording this before the games on Tuesday are played, so let's hope that we're having a good day tonight. Monday's games, unfortunately, did not go our way. I was 1 in 3, so got one out of my 4 plays to cash on Monday. Jalen Brunson under 8.5 assists for plus money did cash, but we lost Dante DiVincenzo under his point prop. We lost the Nuggets minus 5.5. Understatement of the century saying that. And then we lost Jaden McDaniels over his points plus rebounds as well. I put 1.5 units on the Nuggets spread, which was obviously a bad look in hindsight. So rough day on Monday, down about 2.78 units. That brings our entire profit on the entire season. We are now down to about 108. I say down, but still down after the Monday's games, to about 108 units of profit. Obviously, that's an amazing number, but not good to have a rough day. And then in the playoffs specifically, it's been hit or miss. Feels like we're really hot or really cold with these playoffs. Haven't really had a lot of sustained success. We are still up on the entire playoffs, which is good, up 0.31 units. But obviously that success is not nearly the same as it was in the regular season, So let's hope that we can turn things around there. If you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff does help me out a ton. And then the last thing I'll mention before I get into today's picks, or I guess today's picks for tomorrow's games, is I do have a dub club for $5 a month where I send everything out. It gets you the same plays that you get for free on YouTube and on Twitter. I just send them out early, so if the odds change by the time you're watching the video, which unfortunately I can't help by the time I record, edit, and then post, the dub club is a way to combat that. Everything gets sent directly to your phone for $5 a month, and you're able to lock the plays in before the odds change. But enough of that. Let's hope we can have a better day for tomorrow's games. Again, recording this on Tuesday. In the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here, obviously these are both going to be in the Pacers-Knicks game. I'm just taking the Knicks spread. I was able to get them at minus 4.5 at minus 110 odds at Fanatics. Pretty good price there. If you can't get that number, I would still take them at 5, which is what it's most commonly offered at. I think it's a really good spot to back the Knicks to win, and I think they're going to win pretty comfortably in Game 2. Now, I was on the Pacers. I thought that they would win Game 1. Obviously, I definitely thought that they would at least cover the spread. Now, I did not make it one of my official plays, but that's what I thought was going to happen. And the way Game 1 went kind of was how I thought it was going to go. I thought the Pacers were going to play them tough. The Knicks were coming off of a bruising rock fight of a 6-game series against the Sixers. And then they're going to go up and play against the Pacers, a team that loves to run the ball. Just a complete stylistic difference. So I thought that the Knicks would start the series relatively slow, which did happen. Now, they were able to get the win with a little bit of luck, but that was a win. But my prediction that the Knicks win and cover by a very easily margin in Game 2, I still think that a lot. I still think that the Knicks win comfortably. Game 1 was the Pacers' chance to make it a series. They came incredibly close to winning that game. Was unable to make that happen. Now I think the Knicks come and blow them out in Game 2. There were a lot of factors in Game 1 that favored the Pacers that I have a hard time believing is going to happen game over game, especially in New York. The Knicks turned it over twice as much as the Pacers did. The Knicks had 14 turnovers in Game 1. The Pacers only had 7. The Pacers also were out offensive rebounding the Knicks basically the entire game until the very, very end. The Pacers had 7 offensive rebounds. The Knicks only had 8. Knicks are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the entire NBA, and that's how they were able to beat the Sixers. A lot of that was on the offensive boards. Winning the possession battle in general is something that the Knicks do quite a lot, and how they're able to win some of these games. So them losing it by a pretty decent margin in Game 1 and still winning the game does not bode well for the Pacers. And I also think that on the Pacers offensive end, I do think that the Knicks physicality really does bother Tyrese Haliburton specifically. Obviously, he's the engine of that offense. He's had good games against the Knicks. If you look at the regular season, OG Anunoby barely played in any of those games, and the way that they guard him, it's just not his comfort. He needs space to be able to operate. The Knicks aren't going to give him any. And I don't think that on the other side of the ball that TJ McConnell is going to score 18 points game over game, 16 shots. And I know he played well defensively against Jalen Brunson. Brunson still scored 43 points, and I just have a hard time seeing TJ McConnell being the Brunson stopper if the Pacers' answer is, oh, we got to play TJ McConnell more because he did such a good job against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is so good, I'm sure he'll be able to figure out CJ McCollum. So I love the Knicks to win and cover in game 2. I'm not making it a 1.5 unit play because I'm not making that mistake again, but I am really confident that the Knicks are able to win this game pretty comfortably. Next up, I have a player prop for this game as well, and I'm taking Jalen Brunson under 2.5 made three-pointers, plus 102 odds at DraftKings. So with that, all that being said about the Knicks winning and covering game 2, I really do like Brunson's under 3-point prop in game 2, especially the fact that you can get this for plus money at DraftKings, I think is a really, really good price. This is just not the series for Jalen Brunson to hit a bunch of three-pointers, right? He's going to easily be able to get to a spot in the mid-range. That's where he prefers to score. And that kind of showed itself in game 1. He scored 43 points. He only made one three-pointer, and he only attempted 4. 4 or 5 attempts is what I'm expecting from Brunson game over game. And he's not going to hit consistently 40 to 60% of his three-pointers, right? So I think that the under is the play here. Brunson has turned himself into a decent three-point shooter. I'll definitely say that. But the way that he shoots is he needs to be able to step into it, and he needs space. That's not what the Pacers are going to give him. They don't play drop coverage on the pick and roll, and they're going to get in your face. They're going to force you to drive. And that's why Jalen Brunson was able to score 43 points, despite the fact that he only made one three-pointer, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to get into the paint. He wants to score in the mid-range, close to the basket, get fouled, all that stuff. It's just not going to lend himself to a lot of three-point attempts. Now, you're going to look at his series against the Sixers, and you're going to say, well, he cashed it in 3 of his 4 last games against the Sixers. Why is this under for a play now? And it's a totally different defensive matchup. The Sixers, number one, they play a lot more creatively on defense. Nick Nurse is a mad scientist back there. But most importantly, Embiid's preference on the pick and roll, he prefers to drop. He doesn't want to guard the perimeter. He wants to stay close to the paint where he doesn't have to move as much. And does a much better job when he's able to be a rim protector. So Jalen Brunson had the opportunity to walk into three-pointers. That's not how the Pacers play defense. Again, despite scoring 43 points, he only attempted 4 three-pointers, and he made 1. And even if you want to say, well, the Pacers are going to play him differently than they played him in game 1, the second half, when Jalen Brunson scored 25 points, 2 three-point attempts, and the one that he made was deep in the fourth quarter when the Knicks were down 5, and they absolutely needed that. It was kind of a rare opportunity where someone had a hand in his face, and he still pulled up and he drained it because Jalen Brunson's amazing. That's not how he prefers to play. And I understand going back to the regular season isn't perfect because a lot of things are different, but if you will allow me to do so, Brunson went under this number in 2 of his 3 games against the Pacers in the regular season. In both games that he went under, he only made 1 three-pointer. In the game that he did go over, he made 4, but that's more of an outlier than anything. The Pacers are bottom of the NBA in terms of three-point pull-up attempts allowed, and literally last in the NBA in terms of above the break three-point attempts allowed. And that's where Jalen Brunson attempts his three-pointers, right? He pulls up above the break. So all in all, I think it's a really, really good spot to take his under three-pointers made as our second play, and that's all we got. Just 2 plays as of right now for the 1 game for you guys to lock in. If I decide to add a third one, I'll post it to my Dub Club and then send it out on Twitter as well. So definitely make sure to follow me on Twitter. But for this video, that is all we got. 2 bangers for you guys to lock in, and make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.